today and
All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's the Real Estate Radio guys, John Rainville,
Kingsley Harmer.
And this is one of our, newer, we're trying a nighttime broadcast. And the reason is, so if you come on, and can you just let us know that you're there? Because for some reason, the way this Facebook live stream works, if you don't type something in the comment box, you don't show on our side. So we sort of don't know you're there. So then I just really appreciate if you can do that.
Also, we are officially testing out some new sound equipment for the first time live.
That's true.
Today, so make sure if you can hear us, please let us know. If you can't hear us, please let us know. Because we don't want to go through a whole hour show here and nobody can.
Believe it or not, this is our 10th live broadcast.
Is it really?
On Facebook, live stream between here and YouTube.
And this comes in from the days when we started off with the Velcroed phone on the mic stand down at the radio station.
That's right.
Yeah,
we're coming light years ahead.
And it didn't actually stay on, if you recall. It actually fell off.
But you know what? I've seen other people that are trying to follow in our footsteps, and they're having the same technical difficulties. So we are, sort of pioneers here.
We're trying.
Well, folks, our topic tonight is going to be on, today is going to be on townhomes versus condos.
And not versus condos, townhomes and condos.
Well,
I kind of lump them in. What I'm thinking is maybe we'll do townhomes and condos versus homes. In other words, is it worth buying one?
Well, I thought we should sort of explain first the difference between a townhome and a condo, because a lot of the public think they're one and the same.
They're the same thing. Come
on. No, they're not.
Are you serious?
They're totally different.
No way.
Totally different.
No, when somebody says I'm buying a townhome, condo, townhome, what's the difference?
Huge difference.
No way.
Yeah, huge difference. When you own a townhome, you guys send in nasty letters to him. Listen, so when you're buying a townhome, you actually own the ground underneath you, and there's a homeowners association. So you actually even own your outside walls. When you purchase a condo, you only technically own from the paint in. So that's why, for example, your insurance ends up being a lot less on a condo, because all the exterior and the structure of the building is covered underneath the homeowners association or the condo association. And all
you really have to do is
contents, kitchen
contents,
cabinets, and all
between
that.
The walls.
Yeah, but you don't own any ground. You own a common interest with every one of the other condo owners on the ground.
And with a townhome?
With a townhome, you actually own the ground. Now, some of it, you only own the actual footprint of the property, so just the actual structure ground. Others, you own an actual lot, okay? But there will then be a homeowners association that sets the rules.
So if I'm in a townhome,
yeah,
I own a percentage of the land. That's what you're saying, because I own a percentage of the association?
Well, no. You own just the land underneath your townhouse, okay? The rest of that is common area, which probably is owned technically by the association.
Okay.
Okay. And then they're going to have their different maintenance rules. Some HOAs, the homeowner has to take care of the exterior maintenance. Some of them are snow and mow. They'll take care of all the snow removal, all the mowing, tan barking.
Those are nice.
Those are nice.
And there's even some that'll actually replace the roof, from my understanding.
Well, yeah, that gets into that association and condo versus townhome.
There's a couple of them like that, even in the area, I think.
Are you sure they're not? But there's some condo townhouses in our area.
All right, see, now you're really confusing me. I thought you said there was a difference between a condo and a townhouse, and now you're calling it a condo townhouse.
Well, you can have a townhouse condo.
And it's only one big building.
Right.
Your unit, first, second floor, and a basement.
Yep.
So, for example, these Yinks homes that we have over here in our development.
Right.
Right, in the Lewisburg area, what is that, a condo townhome or a townhome? Home association?
They have a homeowners association.
Okay, so it's just a townhome.
So it's just a townhome.
Okay, so you're responsible for the maintenance on your own property.
To a point. Some of the homeowners associations will add that in. It just depends. For example, even up in the Poconos, some of those homeowners associations take care of different things. They may take care of security, road maintenance. They may actually include your sewer and water in there and trash. So, everyone's different. So you have to really check it out. But all in all, they can be the right type of housing for you. It just depends. I mean, I'm getting to that point in life where I'd like to be able to come and go as I please. I think Betty thinks I come and go as I please, but I think.
Well, you are a realtor, right?
Yeah, I am a realtor.
Okay, all right.
But I think it would be nice to not have pets and be able to come and go and not have to worry about that my lawn's cut or that the snow's shoveled.
Well, see, no, that's where we can get into some of the advantages versus the disadvantages.
Well, there's definite different advantages, and
obviously there's different varying degrees, from my understanding, is some will handle more maintenance
correct
than others.
That's correct.
So, all right, so let's get into an example then.
Okay, so one of the things, let's say that you're looking to buy a townhouse or a condo. You may want to investigate the homeowners association or the condos association. For example, down in Florida, they've had problems where they actually have single family homes, but they have homeowners associations, okay? And they take care of the roads and everything. And a lot of that was done down in Florida to circumvent what the municipality would normally require for bridges and roads, so that they could sort of cheat on those a little bit.
So do they handle the snow removal down there too?
They take care of the snow removal down there in Florida. But you have to make sure that there's enough in the sinking fund to take care of any potential road work and things like that.
So everything's covered.
You want to make sure.
Okay.
And you really want to see that.
All right. So in all seriousness, when you buy a condo or townhome, one of the documents that's required for a mortgage is the homeowners association bill of rights, their laws, their bylaws, the whole 9 yards. And then you'll actually get a certificate from them after you sign off saying that they have the right to sell it to you, assuming that the dues, which is another downside of owning a home or condo that's under a homeowners association, is free and clear or paid.
Well, yeah, but the homeowners association fee, some people look at as a downside. You do have to look at it as a cost for when you're financing it.
Definitely a cost.
However, if it's including your snow and your snow removal, your mowing, and things like that, there's a trade-off.
Which is another one of those things you have to look at.
That is another one you have to look at.
Because nowadays, as a lender, I see some of these exorbitant fees every month, and I'm talking.
Right? No,
I'm not talking
$20.
I'm not talking $40.
No, it's hundreds
I'm
of
talking
dollars.
like $250, $300 a month for a townhome.
Right, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I could buy a single-family home, and I could hire, Bubbaloo's snow and mow service to take care of me for a lot less than that every month. That's an option. But you're actually starting to see companies like that pop up to keep people in their homes.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the weird thing. We're talking about an area here in Pennsylvania where an average condo price is what, like 125 maybe? 130, depending on the, you got your ups and you got your downs.
You got some big ones, yeah.
Right. $300 a month on even $150,000.
How much would that be in mortgage dollars?
Well, you're talking probably $60,000 just in mortgage dollars.
Right, it's a lot of mortgage dollars.
It's a lot of mortgage.
It's a lot of mortgage dollars. People don't think
$300 a month, and what most people don't realize is, let's say you're in the market for $125,000, $150,000 property, and you're going to get qualified for a mortgage for this property. Throw on $300 on top of that, or whatever the home association fee is. That is included in what is called your debt-to-income ratio. So it's just another one of those fees that the mortgage company looks at and says, can you afford this?
That's an excellent point, because a lot of times, realtors, what we do is we have someone go to somebody like you, get pre-approved. They get pre-approved, and normally you figure in a normal amount of taxes, but you're not automatically thrown in an HOA fee unless they say, hey, we're looking for a condo or something like that. That doesn't even come into the conversation.
It usually doesn't.
Right. So they go to the realtor. They come to the realtor. They say, oh, we're approved for 120. We go out. They buy a $120,000 condo or townhouse with a homeowners association fee, and all of a sudden we take them to Kingsley and they don't qualify. It's not because of us not knowing or Kingsley not knowing. They just didn't realize that extra money was going to come.
Now, one thing that we do as a company that slightly altered, and I'm sure there's others that do it, when we actually print out a pre-qualification, we will say purchase price with X amount down. So we're basically saying they're putting 5%, 3.5% down, whatever it is,
right,
an amount, and it also lists out a total payment.
Okay.
And that total payment is going to include your principal interest, which is your mortgage, your property taxes and/or school taxes in this area, your homeowners association if necessary, homeowners insurance if necessary, and flood insurance, which is another big one.
Yeah, that could be another deal breaker.
Right. Now we don't run into too many condos that have flood insurance issues, but
No.
especially if you're on the second floor. Although I have seen it.
Right.
Crazy as it may sound.
Another factor to consider, one, you want to consider your lifestyle. Is this what you want if you're going to live into either a townhouse or a condo? Because you have a single-family home with somebody else coming to do the snow and mow may be a better alternative. Everyone's got a different lifestyle, different choice. But another factor is appreciation. I mean, typically, if you talk to most appraisers, they're going to tell you that appreciation goes first to a single-family home, second to a detached home, third to a townhouse, and last depreciation is lowest for a condo. Now I know.
Whoa. What about like timeshares? I mean, that's technically ownership. I mean, what about the appreciation value there? Would that be last?
I don't know. I don't think there's any appreciation in timeshares. That's a whole other show. We'll do timeshares as another show. But so you might want to figure that in also.
Yeah. Now, in general, however, condos and townhouses are less expensive to buy.
Correct.
So, we use the condo and the townhome as more or less. I mean, you can either consider it an entry into the marketplace or entry into homeownership because it's easier technically to maintain because you get more or less a smaller plot of land or smaller yard usually.
Right.
So even if you have to do the maintenance yourself, you've got less maintenance, you've got less area normally to have to worry about as a first-time home buyer.
True.
And then you also would consider your exit strategy. A lot of people start off in townhomes and end up in townhomes and or condos after they've had the home ownership in the 4 or 5, 6 acres and got sick of mowing, the lawn for 20 years.
Okay. Well, everyone's, like they say in the car business, there's an ass for every seat, right?
Yes, there
right.
is.
So what everyone likes in a housing is going to be different. So you have to make your choices there, but you can get a lot of value. You can get a lot of style. You can get a lot of extras sometimes for your money because you do have common walls, and there are some savings there in the cost of the structure.
You can, for example, again, the townhomes over here to our left, if you will. I mean, they've got vaulted, 2-floor ceilings.
Oh yeah, vaulted ceilings, screened porches, decks. Yep, they've got everything.
It's nuts. Garage. And you walk into those places, and they've got the crown molding, the chair rail, the center island kitchen with granite countertops that opens up into the living room. And this is a townhome.
Yep.
Which is crazy, but they are nice. So you have the gamut, if you will, of townhomes as well. So I think what it comes down to, I mean, you're going to have your positives and negatives, and your advantages and disadvantages. But are you okay with a neighbor?
Well, it depends on whether you mind what they're going to cook on their grill tonight for dinner.
Well, I mean, that's a big question, though.
Noise, kids, everything.
The whole 9 yards. I mean, you could have a neighbor 4 houses down that has parties till 3 o'clock in the morning every weekend.
And if they don't invite you, it's a problem.
Exactly. So, you're going to have to do a self-check. I mean, and really think about before moving into a townhome whether or not you're okay with it. Now, the good news is I would imagine a lot of people that are first-time home buyers are living in apartments.
Right.
Currently. So you can compare the lifestyle and the living arrangements with, a townhome in that aspect, just knowing that you have neighbors. Now, the beautiful thing is when you get into a townhome, those walls are soundproof. A little better than your cheesy or crappy apartment.
Just depends. Just depends.
Depends. But I think that kind of gives you at least a good starting point as far as what to expect. You're always going to have that one neighbor. Are you good with people or aren't you?
That's right. And sometimes you get great neighbors. You know what I mean?
Get lucky.
You know.
You can get lucky.
You can get lucky. Let's talk a little bit, though. I mean, there have been some financing problems that we've seen over the last couple years with both townhomes and condos. Just some minor issues where I know one homeowners association townhome that I have experience with selling last year, they only allow so many rental properties within the communities. So my seller, because they were up to their limit, was not able to sell it to an investor who would have bought it in a heartbeat because it would have made a great rental. You know, so sometimes on condos and townhomes, you're not getting what they call, the full bundle of sticks. So you may not have all the same rights. So when you get those homeowners association documents, those condo documents, you usually have 3 days of right of rescission to look those over, decide whether or not you're happy with everything, because after 3 days, it's done.
And you should look them over.
You need to read them.
There's a lot of...
Do yourself a favor, really read them, look through them.
They're thick sometimes.
Oh, sometimes they're a whole book.
And the problem with that is they draw them up, over the years, just like everything else, with all this legal mumbo-jumbo crap that you literally have to kind of sift through to get what they're trying to tell you about the laws and regulations of the association.
True. That's true.
For example, some of them won't let you paint your siding or change your siding a different color.
Or even the color of your front door.
Or even the color of your front door.
So you really need to check it out. Or some limit you on how many pets you can have. And I've seen them where they also limit the weight of your dog.
Yeah, size.
Yeah, right? So you got to keep your dog on a diet to keep it underneath that 100-pound limit. It's a big dog.
Yeah. There's no massives allowed in those.
Right.
But, that's when you just invest in a small little, treadmill for it.
That's right.
And, you're good to go.
That's right. But another issue on the condo financing that we've seen is the opposite effect, where they have too many rentals, and then I guess Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac sometimes gets a little bit worried about that.
Yeah. It was depending on. Well, a lot goes into it, but yeah, it all does come down to the percentage of rentals in the area. And if there's, way too many rentals in that development, they fear for the value of the property is really what it comes down to. So
you may be in the process of buying one, and all of a sudden, your realtor will get a form from the lending company saying, hey, we need a survey. I think it's like a homeowner association survey or condo association survey document filled out by the association, so they get a better handle on what the risk is.
They get a questionnaire.
Exactly. Okay.
Right. So whoever the HOA manager or whoever's running it for that particular one.
Okay.
In our area, PMI happens to run a lot of them.
Most of them, yeah.
So they'll get a questionnaire, 2-3 pages long.
Okay.
And they'll go through and ask a lot of different questions.
Right.
And one of the other things that can come into play is the insurance that the homeowners association has.
Yeah.
Because
is there enough?
Right. Because let's just say, for example, they run into this where there isn't enough coverage, yet you're getting into and buying into a townhome association that's got a pool house, a game room, all kinds of common grounds and buildings, which is really what it comes down to. So there has to be enough coverage and insurance in the event of a loss. So if the coverage isn't correct, the lender's going to be like, sorry, we can't do anything.
Right.
There has to be, or, then there can be changes to it.
I've also seen where people have bought a townhome, mostly, and then there may be a special assessment because maybe they didn't have enough money and all of a sudden it needed roofs. Mm-hmm. And so you have to really check these things out, folks, because it costs you thousands of dollars. And it may not be a bad thing, though. It may, you really have to look at it, overall, the financial map of it and see if it makes sense.
It's a good thing. I mean, it really comes down to who the management of the association is.
Right.
Because I'm sure that it has been abused in the past for certain things. Even I went through it when I was in an association where they said, okay, well, for the next year, we're going to have to put another $30 fee per month on top of your normal, because we have to pay for parking lots or retaining walls where the flow over parking is. And overflow parking is another one of those big things that you want to check into.
That's an excellent point. Check out the parking.
Because most of them, they're either going to come with one spot,
right,
or two,
right,
at most. And if you have anybody over, if you have kids that are in the 16-year realm and they have a car and you have a car and your husband or wife has a car, where are they going to park? So there's got to be overflow parking somewhere, at least you hope. Otherwise, you're parking on the lawn, and then you're probably getting fines, which is another one of those beautiful topics to talk about with homeowners associations. If you do not follow the rules, they will fine you.
Right. So, I mean, if you are in a homeowners association and your grass is supposed to be cut, it's supposed to be cut, they may fine you. But a lot of times they have amenities too, though. They may have a pool. Like, I'm just going to use up in the Poconos here for an example. Some of them in their associations included use of the pool, they'll have like a community house, they'll have a gym, they'll have lakes, with lifeguards. Some of them even have, ski hills.
Spas, parks.
Yeah, and that you all get to use, as part of your...
Playgrounds is a big one for the kids. And with all that, they've got these homeowners association fees for the maintenance of them because, kids will be kids and they get broken.
Right.
The pool is a very expensive amenity to have. But during the summertime, it's,
great place to send the kids.
You don't have to worry about the maintenance on that yourself.
Don't have to put chlorine in.
You don't have to skim it. You don't have to do any of that. You just go down. I'm sure they have some sort of badge you get. You walk in, you go swimming, and go home.
Yes, and we know that Kingsley's a little bit dark here. We're going to have now we've gone to the expense of the studio mics, the studio monitor. See, because you're not even seeing our mics.
Right.
Now he just said it tonight. We're going to have to invest in some studio lights.
Studio lighting.
But I think it's because he didn't shave today. That's what it is. He hasn't shaved for a couple days, and he didn't want you to know that.
Yeah, I didn't, and that's if I pull it down just a little bit more, it's kind of like that. What is it, the Geico commercial?
Yeah.
Where she walks out of the shadows.
I think a good topic for us to talk with John Stas about, maybe we can get him cut into here later, would be about the difference for him on the home inspector side between a townhouse and a condo. Because in a condo, I bet you he's only doing the interior. I know that over here at Sungill, there are some of those units where the heat's actually provided. Did you know that? Oh yeah, heat's included in your fee.
That's not a bad thing then.
No. But
how much is the fee?
Well, it's a few $100s. But I wonder if then when he goes and does an inspection, if he happens to look at other things besides just that interior
I would think
thing.
you have to.
Especially
in a condo, because let's say you're the top unit.
Right.
The integrity of your unit happens to heavily rely on the one beneath you.
Yes, that's true.
So
it's like a castle.
My condo's fine. I got a castle in the sky, but the one below's got about 1 billion termites in it, and it might crack and cave at any moment. I don't know as a lender whether or not we would lend on that in a particular circumstance.
Let me ask you this. Is there any difference in the rate between a single-family home, a condo, or a townhouse?
Typically not.
Typically flat, right? It's flat across the board?
Typically not. Sometimes there is, depending on the higher LTVs and or credit scores.
And no difference in private mortgage insurance based on them? No,
private mortgage insurance is really based off of how much you're putting down and your credit score are your two main factors.
So that's
and
just
the loan
lender,
amount, of course. I mean, the higher the loan amount, the factors are, big graph where you go according to, but nowhere in there does it say, okay, because it's a condo, you're getting raised up.
Yeah, I just wondered. You never think about it. Now, a lot of people have bought condos when the market's moving fast, which we're still not at, folks. I mean, yes, we're low on inventory, but it's not time to go speculating on condos in Florida yet, which is what happened back before the crash. People were buying condos. Same thing that's happened in China. They've bought condos after condos after condos, expecting everything to just explode. And then now if you look over there in China, they actually have entire empty cities. Did you know? Entire empty cities.
I know a lot of people that may be in this country, some of them, where we can ship them over there and we can help and
we could help them. They were actually buying them on speculation,
wow.
And then hoping to resell them, and they got caught. So they actually have malls, everything built over their entire cities.
So here's my question, then. If you know this,
right,
and now I know this, right? When they're sitting there coming up with all these places to ship all of these, people that are...
Why aren't they shipping them to China?
Why aren't they shipping them to China? Is China saying no? I mean, are they a smart country and saying no?
I don't know, but they've got entire cities that are built that need occupants.
How cool would that be?
That would be very cool if they would do that.
I mean, just for a day to go in. I mean, let's just take that. Hold on, we're going off topic just a little bit, but hold on. You got a huge city.
Right.
You've got gas stations, McDonald's,
malls,
Burger Kings, and malls.
Yeah.
And you and your family get to go on vacation into this city for a whole week.
Right.
Right. What if they have car dealerships with like Ferraris and stuff in them? It's all set up and ready to go. You just
now you want inventory.
Oh, yeah, we gotta have inventory. You just do what you want. They have a TV show about that, The Last Man Standing or something like that, where they go around and just do whatever the heck they want.
Interesting.
Hey, we all thought about it, but you can't do that in a condo.
So things to think about on the condo is, one, parking. You want to read the HOA documents. You want to think of how you're going to live in the unit. I mean, some will say that you're not allowed to have a grill on your patio. So, I mean, if that's going to be something that affects it, you want to find that out before you move in. You want to know what's going on there with that. You want to I would recommend you talk to some of the other residents before you ever buy a condo or a townhome, and make sure, let them give you their feedback. People tend to be pretty honest, and they'll say, geez, I wish I hadn't bought here, or they're going to tell you, hey, we love it.
That's actually not a bad idea to do with regular homes.
Well, wherever you're buying. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going back and talking to the neighbors.
But certainly more important with a condo or townhome, for that matter.
Absolutely.
You can find out a lot about it, because if you go to like 3 or 4 homes and they all bitch, yeah, you might want to start looking a little bit deeper into what's going on with that townhome. And again, a lot of it comes down to the management of the association. So
back on our pro list is the lifestyle. I mean, you can come and go as you please. You may or may not have inside or outside maintenance. You may get a lot of amenities that you didn't have in your old home. If maybe you're moving down, maybe you're making a lateral move because you're retiring.
Mm-hmm. To me, that would be ideal.
To be able to come and go and
I mean, as you're retiring, the whole idea of retirement is to spend your time to do whatever the heck you want, right?
No, the idea of retirement is to spend all your money before the kids get it.
Ooh, that's another show. Yeah, no. But it would help. I was out, a friend of mine, of course, I lived in Los Angeles for a stint, and they've got these condos in towers.
Right.
And they go up, 20 floors, right?
Yep.
And then, of course, you have that crossover from condo to condotel, and then they have them in New York a lot, where you really don't own anything. It's all owned by the building.
Cooperative.
Yeah, cooperative, right?
Right, yeah.
So here's one.
Yeah, those in California? I mean, New York, I usually think cooperative, I think New York.
There are a few.
Okay.
Okay, so you take your Sunset Strip, which everybody I'm sure has heard of when it comes to Los Angeles. And on Sunset Strip, there's plenty of these condo houses, go up 20 to 30 stories. And you buy the unit, of course, like any other condo, and then you have the homeowner's fee, which is like $350 a month.
Okay.
But when you move into this, you've got valet parking.
Okay.
Everything about the pool, common areas where there's pool tables, places that you can go and have parties and cocktail parties, or even out on the pool area, on the deck, is all covered under your fee, homeowner association fee. But what's cool about it is...
Any happy hours included?
Yeah, no.
No.
No. A few happy hours I know of that may have maybe caused some issues.
Okay.
So
and a lot of the properties you have to get voted in or voted in too. A lot of times they won't. You see where like a certain celebrity, they won't let move into a building because they don't want the paparazzi or whatever problems.
Yeah, but I'm not going to have to worry about those places for quite some time because I can't afford them. And most of the people that are listening to us today probably can't afford those either.
But you don't know. You never know.
These little condos that I'm talking about are like $800,000.
Right.
And you're only talking 1,000 square feet when you're talking Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
So I mean they're small.
It's like New York.
Yeah, they're done up, but they're small and they cost you $1 million plus.
Okay.
A lot of them.
I'd rather live with like an ocean view, like down in Florida for a lot less.
Some of them did have ocean views.
They did.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But again, maintenance-free, worry-free living. You write your check and you go do what you want to do because you're retired. And there are probably a lot of busy professionals that travel a lot for their job. Maybe you're in sales, maybe good realtors. I don't know. That just do not have the time, nor do they want to waste their time on mowing a lawn, painting the outside of the property, making sure the windows are recapped or repainted or whatever the case may be. And they're okay with paying a couple extra $100 a month to hands off, worry free.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, if you bought a single family home, you're going to have maintenance. Every 15 years you're going to be replacing some major mechanicals. You're be starting to replace things like roofs and sidings and windows. Exactly. So if it's included in your HOA or your condo fee, that could be an offsetting factor.
Could.
And whether or not you can rent it too, because maybe you're going to live in LA half the year and New York half the year. So maybe you want to let somebody else surf on your couch for those 6 months.
Well, that's when you get into, what is that?
Airbnb?
Yeah, the B&B thing.
Yeah, Airbnb, yeah.
Have you ever done it?
No, have I ever done it? No. I just knock on strangers' doors.
You mind if I live here next weekend?
Hey, can I spend the night? Yeah, my car broke down.
That's actually a great concept.
It is.
Now they have one like that. Is it a free service where you switch homes?
I don't think it's a free service. Because I think even Airbnb has like a 6 to 12%. Somehow they're making money on it.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Don't create anything, broker it.
Right. That's right.
Yes.
Don't have to touch it. That's what we do.
Don't have to touch it. You just kind of move numbers around and make money off it. That's.
So if anyone here online tonight, here on Facebook has any question, feel free to type it in. We'll try to read it and answer it for you. Condos and townhouses, pros, cons.
Can you come up with any other pros?
Well, I think lifestyle. I think the big one is lifestyle. The second one is just overall convenience. You know what I mean? I mean, to not have to worry.
What about efficiency?
Well, you would think a condo would cost you less for the utilities.
Well, yeah.
And maybe even a townhome. If you have two party walls.
Because a lot of the townhomes only have 2 outside walls.
Right.
A lot of condos have no outside walls.
That's correct. So
they might have, I would imagine they don't have that
one.
Right.
Yeah, one.
But I mean, if you're talking a efficient wall and siding and whatever they've got going on, you're probably talking very low heating / cooling bill.
Well, that's another plus.
There you go.
Another plus. And I think, for some people, just not having to do the outside maintenance is just huge. I mean, it gets to be a point, you don't want to cut the grass. You don't want to have to shovel the snow, right? You just want to...
So that brings us to another point then.
Okay.
You've got condos and townhomes.
Yep.
We're talking about retirement, right?
Yep.
Lifestyle, retirement. What's a retirement community?
55 plus?
What is it? Is it considered a condo? Is it considered a townhome? Is it considered a PUD?
You're going to love my answer. It's both. They have them set up as both. They have condo ones. They have ones with homeowners associations. The ones that I'm familiar around here with mainly have homeowners associations that dictate everything.
So what makes it a 55 plus versus a regular townhome HOA community? From the fact that
they have it stipulated in there that you're only allowed to have so many people under 55 at your unit. Not even other than relatives and that. No one's allowed to live with you unless wait, if you were 72 and you had a 26-year-old trophy wife, I think in most of them you are allowed to have her there. I don't know what happens after you expire, if she has to move out or what, but...
Yeah, but she would own it then.
She would own it.
So they're going to force her to sell it.
I would think that would be a battle.
No, I think it's a loophole. So, if you walked into a place, a 55 and older community, right? Let's talk about loopholes. This is all we have to do to get it out of being a 55 plus community. Everybody there just has to marry a 26-year-old trophy wife.
And we can change it over.
And then change it over, and then all of a sudden, when you've got 90% people that are by that point,
a whole lot of 27-year-old owners.
Well, let's go with maybe 30s.
30s, okay.
You got to give them 10 years to live, right?
Okay.
All right, you got to enjoy 10 years. So, but all right, on to more serious. So, but yeah, so 55 and older. A lot of them now have medical staff, don't they?
Well, I think that's more like an assisted living setup, more so than,
I don't know. I think a lot of them have nurses on staff somewhere, in the main grounds, that if you were to call, they actually have somebody to, check you out.
Oh, you mean in the 55 plus community?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, I know if you're down at Lake Mead, they have their own fire department, so they would have their own EMTs, I'm assuming. But I don't know if they have medical staff.
I'm thinking.
That's a good question. So what do you think some of the downsides are? Other than, you have your neighbors living right on top of you.
I'll tell you. If you're in a bad HOA, and again, this is why you got to read the documents and talk to the neighbors. If you're in a bad HOA, you can be fined to death for nitpick stuff. Again, in a lot of them, you can't paint your shutters a different color. They have to match, let's say, for example, everybody in your row. The door, a lot of times, cannot be changed color. So if you're looking for artistic home ownership, a lot of people want home ownership because they can do whatever they want. They can put in home theaters, bowling alleys, or whatever, in their basement, pool tables, game rooms, the whole 9 yards. You're not going to be able to, especially in a condo, change any structural walls.
They want you to take your sombrero off.
No. It would be even scarier than the Penn State Act. So yeah, I mean, you lose your freedom of artistic approach to your house a lot of times, especially on the outside. It would be, you don't get a lot of land. Condos, you don't get any.
That's true.
I mean, sometimes you get a porch about the size of this table here where you can sometimes put a grill. A lot of times you can't.
Right, and you can never expand either one of these, almost guaranteed. To put an addition on, it's going to be tough. I mean, you're maybe on a townhouse, maybe some of
the older established
Yeah, but it's going to be tough. Not in a condo. There's no room to expand.
No, but maybe in an older, established townhome community, which I don't know. I've seen it in some where they put like little additions on, like maybe 10 or 15-foot additions. I don't know whether or not they did it because they were allowed to.
Or if they just slipped it in.
Or if they slipped it in because, a lot of times you say sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission.
We stayed last year, I think it was last year or the year before, down in one condos down in Ocean City, Maryland. In some of the units there, they had actually enclosed what had been like their balcony areas. Some were actually enclosed now living space, as opposed to like the open balconies. So I guess you probably own that. You may be able to. It would probably be part of your footprint. But then I'm sure it's up to the association if they're going to let you do that.
Well, and then I think a lot of it comes down to the community, too.
Right.
Is it permitted? When you do certain things like that, is it a permitted deck? Is it a permitted addition? In that particular case, you're enclosing a wall.
That's true.
I mean, especially over the last few years, we've had a lot of HUD homes. Homes that were foreclosed upon, HUD homes, whole 9 yards, where you've seen a lot of iffy, scary, do-it-yourself home improvements being done. For example, there was one where the whole living room was built on top of a deck. And if you go outside, there's a deck, and everything is rotting. But upstairs, it's a finished living room. And underneath, there's slats, like in a deck. There's got to be something wrong with that. There's no way anything like that passed any sort of permitting anything. It can't be, just couldn't be done.
All right, so let's sort of give a recap here. So the cons of either a townhouse or a condo could be the fees, potential fines. You can't change things on the exterior. I mean, even with the homeowners association, we know that's tough. You may not be able to change the color of your front door. You may not be able to differentiate or personalize the exterior on either one. If your wife or you like to garden, the odds of you being able to garden there, that's pretty much going to be out unless you're doing it inside.
Well, again, I mean, some of them do it in townhomes.
Some do.
They have small little plots of land that you've got some freedom to, but at the end of the day, they're going to probably tell you can't put a 30-foot high Christmas tree 2 feet away from your house.
Right. Another con would be potentially parking. May not be enough parking if you have the whole family over for Thanksgiving. And we said as a flat thing on the mortgage, that's neither here nor there.
Now, with the mortgage, sometimes there's some LTV differences.
How much money they have to put down. Okay. And then the appreciation on both could be a con. I mean, if you're depending on what your goal is, if you're young and trying to acquire more wealth, you would probably be better off buying a single-family home, putting that extra money to buying a little bit more expensive property, and that way that will appreciate faster on a higher dollar amount. So instead of buying that $120,000 condo with a $300 a month condo fee, maybe you end up buying a $180,000 single-family house. It's now appreciating at a higher rate than that lower-priced condo would have. And you can't write off those condo fees. That's another thing.
You cannot.
Whereas
you can write off the interest, the taxes, a lot of times the mortgage insurance.
On the single-family house.
On the single-family house.
Or semi-detached.
Right. And now, and nationally, and especially in PA, I mean, aside from the last 10 years, the national average for homeowners appreciation for a home has been 3%. Traditionally, with a condo or townhome, what is it, 1%? 1.5% maybe?
Could be.
So, you're building your equity much quicker in a single-family house. So let's say you're 25 years old, just starting off, you have your first child, you just got married, 35 rolls around, maybe you've had your second kid at this point, and you're growing small of your current place. If you've got a single-family home after 10 years, and you're getting, on average, 3% appreciation, if you sell, you now have an easier time of stepping up to a bigger home than with the condo.
Okay.
Basically, that's the simple skinny of it.
So some of the pros could be style. Another, pro could be the location. I mean, because some of these condos or townhomes are in choice locations. Where it may be on the beach, or it may be, right where you want to live, close to work or something. So the location could be a pro potentially. The value of what you're going to get, it's perceived as you're getting a lot more value because it's got more bells and whistles packed into it. So that's something you have to weigh out. The low utilities, that's another pro. And what the fees potentially could include. Maybe they are including sewer, water, and trash in there.
And again, if you're talking about the condos on the beach,
right,
a lot of them might have gyms.
They may have private
Pools.
beach, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pools,
Right.
Private beach, gyms, common areas. I don't know many, but I'm sure there are, especially in some of the tropical areas or resort areas where they've got bars and stuff like that on the premises. I know they do
Yes.
down in Florida.
Yes, I'm sure there definitely are, because some of those are also timeshares. So when I'm down there next week, I'll look into that a little bit more for you.
Well, I've already stayed at one, so
Okay.
there are.
Now, we're talking about timeshare, or was it a regular condo?
No, it was a condo, but it was also a condo where a lot of them were sold off as timeshares.
Okay, so it had a mixed population in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some were timeshare rentals, and others were year-round residents or full-time residents.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I can that would make sense.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, because
Oh yeah, if you had the bar right in your building, yeah. I mean, as long as you got an elevator, yeah, you don't have to drive. Yeah.
I think these were on the first floor.
So
you can crawl.
Are we putting that in the plus? I'll put that.
That's definitely.
I'll put that in the plus column.
That's
for us.
definitely plus.
All right. And like we said, it may have facilities, like you said, like a gym, places like that.
Right. And then the big thing is no maintenance. I mean, because I think that's more
No
or less
maintenance.
The lifestyle.
Adding that to the list.
Yeah, there's no maintenance. Really no headaches. Some of them I'm sure even have on-site plumbers or grounds crew of some sort, or a maintenance guy that there's any issues with the place that they would come in and fix it as part of the HOA fee. So, I mean, again, there's a wide scope of different condos and or townhomes available. Where you can pretty much walk in and have to do nothing. I'm sure you're paying a slight premium for those. And then there's those, where you kind of step into a townhome, which is you're in between home ownership and apartment living. I mean, I think of it as a condo is really an apartment.
And now, my friends in Florida were telling me the other day that you had to be very careful because of the cycle of their market. Especially with the condos, because they were explaining to me that you can get caught sometimes in those ways. If you buy at the wrong time, that they saw, I think, and they said, I'm going to bear with me. Like in the last 12 years, they had actually seen 3 cycles, so 2 additional cycles when you consider the recession. Okay, of ups and downs in the condo market. Okay, because sometimes they will build so many that there's a glut, and it swings the prices, and that sometimes you can get caught in that.
Well, within the last 10 years, for sure.
Especially
in Florida. I mean, they were selling condos for $25,000, $40,000 because builders were building huge condo buildings,
right?
Banking on the economy going a certain way, and when it crashed, builders went out of business.
Right,
they went bankrupt, and there were hundreds and hundreds of these condos sitting there that you literally, if you had a few $1 million lying around or whatever, you could literally invest and buy those things for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I'm going to have to follow up on that because they said there was distinctly 3. They had bought on one, made out very well, sold had to sell after the last one, the recession, and now those places from about 12 years ago are still only about back 50%. So 50% of the amount that they lost. So they've got another probably 5 years to go of normal appreciation to get caught up down there.
Well,
so would you ever live in a condo?
I would own a condo in a vacation area.
Yeah, I would too.
I wouldn't.
At the beach.
I don't want to own one as a primary.
Right.
But certainly if I go down to Florida or if I go out to Los Angeles or something like that, a condo would be ideal because you don't have to worry about a tree falling on, the building and having to replace, the outside of it. I think a condo, again, it's just a worry-free.
I think that brings up another plus.
That is definitely another plus.
Security.
Most condos have an inside entrance.
Right, or a key swipe or something.
To the building.
So, I think that could be another benefit to some people. And one-floor living. Most condos, I usually think of most condos, like if they're in a high-rise, it's one floor.
Yes.
Right. So it'd be one-floor living.
The condo would be. Yeah. A lot of times you're 10 floors up, or 2 or 3 floors up.
Yeah, but usually they give you an elevator. They don't even make the old people walk up 10 floors.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking of like Jersey.
Dude, that's not happening.
You go down to the beach and you got to walk up those cement steps to get to your unit.
Yeah, we've done that. Even some of the hotels, like you're down there at Wildwood. I know we've played.
Yeah, Wildwood. I'm saying.
Oh my gosh!
And they're all like that. You climb up the steps.
And it's like 3 flights up just to get to the first floor. I know.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, by the end of the week, though, you are built. You are good to go.
Especially if you go to the water park.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're spent, but you're built. But yeah, so a condo to me is really nothing more than an apartment living. So, what would be
apartment living?
Here's the question for you then, right? So you've got somebody coming to you as a realtor, and they say, I'm thinking about a condo. What do you think? I live in an apartment now. What's the benefit of owning a condo versus living in an apartment? And
well, as a realtor, I'm going to obviously, right now, unless something changes here with the government, you've got the tax incentive, with being able to write off your interest in the real estate taxes. Hopefully, it's going to be appreciating. So hopefully, while it's going up and appreciating, you're paying down the balance, and eventually you could have it paid off where you're only paying out the condo fee.
So, in other words, living in a condo, I'm either going to be building equity for my landlord or be myself.
Yep, just like a house.
So, for a lot of people in the city, in particular, let's say Harrisburg, Lancaster, around here, York, maybe, right? A townhome and or condo.
Right.
We'll stick with a condo. If you're used to living in an apartment, at least you're not throwing that money out the window, because at the end of the year, after you write a $1,000 check every single month, that's $12,000.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of the year, you've got nothing in an apartment, and a condo, you're at least getting a few thousand of that back. Most of it's going to go to interest in the beginning.
You're getting some tax savings, and you're hopefully getting some appreciation. Yeah.
Right. So Absolutely. You're going to actually get some of that back at the end.
Definitely of the year. Better than renting.
Absolutely.
Definitely better than renting.
So it really is just a varying degree of how much maintenance, freedom, versus no freedom, no maintenance.
So we got to give a shout out to our sponsors. If you're looking to get approved for a mortgage, please go to pagoloans.com. If you're looking for a home in Pennsylvania, please go to searchhomesinpa.com. If you're looking for a home inspection, please go to EnviroQuest Home Inspections. John Stas and his crew do an excellent job. And thank you for bearing with us here on our 10th, webcast here. We're getting it down better. Trust me, guys, our next one will be even better. We'll get our background cleaned up. We'll get Kingsley a shave and a haircut. We'll get some lights in here.
I'll shave and take my hat off. And I saw a comment about the flag behind us being wavy. But
it's a little breezy in here.
It is breezy, and what we're going for is the flag. We're right now, envision this. We are right now sitting in a condo, right? And behind us is glass. We're like 50 stories up, right?
Right.
50 stories up. All
we don't want you to see the ocean behind us.
And what it is it's the flag that's on the pole that you see. It's blowing in the wind. And unfortunately, that was the best shot that they could set the cameras up for.
Yeah, and we're actually in World Headquarters Studios, but we're thinking about renaming that International Headquarters.
International?
International. I don't know. World, International, or Global?
I'm going with World.
World? You like World better?
I like World.
All right, folks, till our next show, really appreciate you guys bearing with us. I know we've had some issues here. We are getting the technology fine-tuned. It's been a learning process for us. It's a little bit different for us on the radio. We've done, I think, 35 shows now on the radio. You realize that? It's like 35 shows.
Wow.
Yeah, it's only 10 here, so we're just babies as far as this. And we never figured that our radio faces were going to have to be out there for you. Yeah. So, till next week, thanks so much.
Oh, wait. Real people?
Real answers. No?
Real questions.
Real people, real questions, real answers.
After 35 shows, we will get this.
Yeah, we'll get our sound down. All right. Thanks. Hey, Big Dog Productions. See you later.